Hi, this is Kat with a short practice for anxiety. This practice hopefully will help you recognize and address and possibly reduce your symptoms of anxiety. You'll need some props for this practice, a few blankets, a bolster, and a wall space like so. It doesn't have to be very wide. If you can't find a wall that's open in your house, you can use the back of a door. We'll be starting in a seat, and I'm going to teach you a breath that we'll use throughout the practice today, and then a few different postures that you could use to help reduce anxiety. I like to elevate the hips, so come up sitting a little higher. I'll scoot back so you can see me better. And if sitting on the floor on a bolster isn't comfortable, you're always welcome to sit in a chair. Sit any way that's comfortable. You might like cross legs more like this, or maybe it's nice to have the soles of the feet together. Whatever pose you take, make it so that you can be comfortable for a good little while here. And then let your eyes close. And if it doesn't feel comfortable to close the eyes, gaze downward at the floor. First, just notice your breath. Now bring one hand onto your belly and one hand onto your heart. Notice where you feel your breath. Often when we're anxious, we feel the breath more in the chest. That's a very typical and healthy response to danger. But once we're out of danger, we want to come out of that kind of breathing and encourage inhaling into the belly. So first, relax your belly completely. And then without forcing, just invite the breath to come into the belly on the inhale. You might even feel your belly inflating and deflating. So the hand on the belly is to help encourage that belly breath. And the hand on the heart is here for support, to bring in a mantra, very simple. I'm going to be okay. Feel the warmth and comfort of the presence of your hand there on your heart, and the warmth and comfort of these words. I'm going to be okay. You can leave your hands there, or you can let them rest on your lap. And I'll teach you this pranayama, which will help to extend the exhalation. So we've heard already, we want the inhalation to go into the belly. On your exhalation, pretend like you're yawning. Inhale into your belly. Pretend to yawn. Each inhalation, let it inflate your belly. And each exhalation, open your mouth wide. Feel the big, expansive space as you yawn to exhale. Let's do this a few more times. It might even trigger your natural response or reflex to yawn. That's a sign that the nervous system is starting to calm down. If this is more than you need, just stay with the belly breathing on the inhalation. And if you're ready for more, we're going to do the same breath, but with the lips closed. Continue this way. It's called the Ujjayi exhalation. And you'll still feel your jaw open. Your mouth will still feel expanded and soft inside. And you'll likely feel the very soft, or hear the very soft noise of your breath. It sounds something like the wind coming through the trees or through the dry leaves. Don't force or push on your throat. Stay soft like a yawn. It might feel nice to bring your hands back onto your heart and your belly. Reminding yourself, I'm going to be okay. You can continue with this Ujjayi exhalation as long as you like. Just pause the video, and I'm going to take you through a few poses that also help to reduce anxiety. This first one is called Viparita Karani. It means legs up the wall. So moving the bolster out of the way, I've got my mat covered with the blanket. Now I'm going to scoot on over to the wall. I'm going to keep scooching and scooching until I bump the wall, and then I'm even going to scooch my booty up the wall a little bit. So I'm going to come down onto my side body here. It takes a little bit of a twist. I've got to pull this arm under, coming down onto my shoulder, and now rolling over to the back. You can take your legs up. The hips are a little off center here, so you got to scooch your hips over until they're in line with your legs. Legs up the wall pose. For tight hamstrings, you'll scoot further away like this. You might need to bend your knees or even let the knees come out. Classic pose is the legs up the wall and the hips all the way in. So find a variation that's going to work for you today. And let's start with the hands again on the belly. It's a little bit different here. Inflating the belly, you might feel the belly rise up and possibly dropping down on the exhalations. It might be very difficult to breathe in the belly. Don't worry. You're going to be okay. Our intention here is to be aware of the breath and to extend those exhalations. You might begin again with the open mouth, yawn. Or maybe you're ready for the closed mouth yawn. Keep breathing with this Ujjayi exhalation. You can keep your hands on your belly, or you can put your hands to the floor with the palms turned downward. Another way to down-regulate your nervous system. So whether your hands can feel the movement of your belly or you're just becoming aware of this, notice that the exhalation is the time when the belly is dropping down. Feel how the breath comes in and the breath drops down. Now this is a mood and an intention that we can use throughout the practice. And it's also helpful for quieting and down-regulating the nervous system. So fill your belly with that inhale. On the exhale, let your whole body drop down a little more, dropping down to rest on the earth. You can even add the words in on the inhalation and down on the exhalation, feeling the parts of the body that can drop down onto the earth now. Viparita Karani is a pose you could stay in for a long time. Please stay as long as you like. Just pause the video. You might even fall asleep here. Another pose I'd like to show you is the supported child's pose. So coming out of Viparita Karani, just bend your knees, take one arm along your head, roll onto your side and let your head come onto that arm. Then coming up slowly, you can take your second blanket and you'll open it across the mat. So it's going to go a little bit wider than that first blanket, and your knees will get a double padding there. Now you take your bolster, and if you don't have a bolster, just use a stack of blankets or towels. And the bolster is going to come between the knees. The knees come wide apart. I'm going to climb up on top of the bolster a bit, and then you come down into a supported child's pose like so. If you like, you can hug your bolster. If you'd rather, you can have the arms out and you can take the elbows forward so that the space between your shoulder blades stays soft. If you're wearing a short shirt, be sure that you pull it down so that there isn't a cold spot on your back body there. Close your eyes if you're comfortable to do so. Now the belly is a little more compressed here, but we're still going to inhale into the abdomen as best we can with a long, slow out breath. And let's remember the breath mantra of in and down. In and down. Every time you bring that mood of down with the out breath, invite in the word home, as if coming home. Sometimes with anxiety, we leave ourselves, we disassociate, we leave the room, but it can feel like we leave our own bodies, our own selves. And this breath and this mantra are a way to come home to yourself. With your child's pose, be sure that you turn your head to the second side. And again, stay as long as you like in this child's pose. I'll show you another pose to help with anxiety. Bring your hands under your shoulders and lift up off of the bolster and slide the bolster forward. Now we're going to take both knees to the left and sit down so that your outer hip comes right over to the edge of the blanket. Now it's pretty hard to see the contrast between my pants and this second blanket, so I'm going to take it out now. So we've got the thighs right next to the edge of the bolster, and this is a twist that we'll do. So you start by sitting tall. Might be helpful to put your fingers on the bolster, whatever works for your body, so that you can twist and stay uplifted to begin with. Twist, uplifted, and then we'll come to a twist over the bolster, sort of like a child's pose. It's a yogic twist called Bharadvajasana. Then you can rest your head on the bolster. We're putting some pressure on that right side of the abdomen. Sometimes anxiety affects your digestion. And this will help stimulate the digestion by putting pressure on the ascending colon. Eyes can close. Now the belly might feel even more compressed, but we're still going to invite it to soften and receive inhalations. And every out breath, we drop down, coming home, coming home. Sometimes with anxiety, the mind is so busy, it bounces from thing to thing. And we're giving the mind a place to rest here, in the breath. We could tell the mind, there's nothing else to do right now, only this. I'm going to be okay. I can put all of my focus, all my effort, all my intentions on just attending to my own breath right now. Stay as long as you like in this twist. And I'm going to show you the other side just so that you're sure to be well prepared to do both sides. Hands come under the shoulders again. Up you come from the bolster. And then you just turn yourself around. Turn away from the bolster And then as you turn your body, the right knee ends up on top. And we turn to face the bolster again. Remember, we're going to start lifted up, turning, twisting. And then when you come over the bolster, it's the left side of your abdomen that will get that extra pressure. Some people might want to turn their head into the twist as well. For most of us, it'll be nicer to turn in towards the knees. So that's the second side of the twist over the bolster. Now, with the bolster off to the side, we're going to come to the child's pose without the bolster. Knees apart, toes together, like so. Child's pose can be a wonderful way to encourage that feeling of home. If you're ready for a little challenge to your grounded feeling, I'm going to show you a short flow. With this flow, we come up to all fours to the count of 4. And then we go back to child's pose to the count of 6, that longer exhalation. Inhale for 4, belly soft. Exhale to the count of 6. Inhale up to all fours, and when you get there, arch into the cow shape. Now to the count of 6, we're going to go to the cat shape. Count of 4 to cow. Transitioning to cat shape, begin to make your way back to child's pose. So we'll transform from the cat back into the child. You can stay here if you like, or we can take another round. Inhale to all fours, transitioning into cow shape on the way up. 6 count cat pose. 4 count cow. And for the next 6 counts, we'll transition into the cat, making your way back to child's pose for a rest. You're welcome to do more rounds of that. I'd like to show you now a seated forward bend using the wall for support. So I'm going to bring my bolster nearby, and then I have my folded blanket. You might need more support than one folded blanket. I'll show you with the one. And I'm going to sit facing the wall. I'll come into cross legs, Sukhasana, called sweet pose or easy pose. There are a lot of variations in the ways you can have your legs here at the wall. Cross-legged is one of them. Soles of the feet together might feel nice in your body if you like a little hip opening. If you're really stretchy, you might stretch your legs out straight. I'm going to suggest starting with something simple and sweet and easy, like cross legs. I say that, but that might not be true in your body. This is simple and sweet and easy. You might want to prop your knees up with a couple of yoga blocks. So notice here that my spine is upright. If your low back is rounding like so, you'll want more support under your hips so that you can sit tall. From here, we're going to use the bolster and the wall for support. So the bolster comes in front. It's wedged there at the corner. I can fold my arms on top of the bolster and then bring my head to rest. A little pressure on my head can help quiet the nervous system as well. You might come here and find this is too much forward bend for me. In that case, you would scoot even closer to the wall to make it less of a forward bend. If you want more forward bend, of course, you do just the opposite. You'll scoot your blanket out from the wall, and then you might even choose a different arrangement for your bolster. Maybe you want to put the bolster on its medium height and come forward something like this. Or again, if you're really bendy, you might come all the way down like so. Rest your head. Let your head be included in that practice of resting down. The breath coming in to the belly still, and that longer 6 count exhalation, bringing you home, coming home to yourself. stay in this forward bend as long as you would like. When you finish your practice, lay your body down into Shavasana, the resting pose or the corpse pose, so as to integrate your practice. I'm very happy to have this practice to offer you. Please email me if you have any questions, and take good care.